Hey soldiers, brief but I think funny video. At the expense of Sam Bankman Fried, we are having one of the former FTX executives throw cold water on the notion that there were wild adult activity parties involving multiple members. Of course, we can't go into actual words that describe this because we are in the future, guys. This is 2023, and so we've got to act like children when we talk on certain platforms like YouTube, because I don't know, the executives over there, they must be Puritan or something. So we will tiptoe gingerly around some of these words and phrases. But the FTX adult activity parties involving multiple members, role-playing and board games is what this ex-employee is responding to. And is saying, it's not what you think. It wasn't this, but it was that. Gossip that top executives at bankrupt crypto giant FTX were enmeshed in an adult activity-fueled polycule, which is a word I've never heard of, but I can do the context clue things. I get it. They're saying this is exaggerated at best, according to a former employee who claims they instead spent their free time on nerdy pursuits. We'll get into exactly what those were in a moment. Rumors of a polyamorous clique of crypto nerds at FTX has run rampant since last fall, particularly focused on Sam Bankman Fried, the 31-year-old kingpin, whose epic fraud trial is slated to begin in just a few days. Tomorrow, from my perspective, Monday, the 2nd of October, 2023. It's going to start in a Manhattan court. His ex-girlfriend and co-defendant, Caroline Ellison, 28-year-old former boss of FTX hedge fund's Alameda Research, who is expected to testify against him, is noted to have said some pretty spicy things that lead people to believe that there was more than crypto exchanging going on. There were exchanges of other types taking place as well amongst the executives. Ellison, a bespectacled, Stanford-educated, self-professed Harry Potter fan, from what I understand, she was particularly enamored with wood nymphs. And wood nymphs do have a reputation for financial malfeasance, is what I've heard at least. She helped fuel speculation by posting sentiments about polyamory online, declaring in a blog post that the, quote, only acceptable style of poly, their styles of poly. I'm such a prude, I never knew that. Anyway, the only acceptable styles of poly were found in an imperial Chinese harem, where participants kept a ranking of their partners, and vicious power struggles for higher ranks occurred. So there's ranking in this thing. There are rules to this. Nevertheless, Aditya Bhardwaj, a former software engineer at FTX firm Alameda Research, who reported directly to Ellison, threw cold water on the hot and heavy gossip. That includes a November report that claimed Ellison and Bankman Fried were part of a cabal of roommates in a luxury penthouse in the Bahamas who all are, or used to be, paired up in romantic relationships with each other. So this software engineer says, if there were these activities taking place with multiple participants, these adult activities, if that happened, you have to understand, I lived right next door. Bhardwaj told the New York Post, I would have heard it from my balcony. Would you have? Maybe they weren't vocal. There is that possibility. Bhardwaj added, quote, if you gave them some alcohol and left them in the room alone, they would end up playing board games. Yahtzee, Uno, draw 4, reverse. She says, I'm very confident there was no polycule. Polycule. We used to call it something different. But I guess, I'm old-fashioned. Representatives for Bankman Fried and Ellison declined to comment. Now, as we said, the trial begins Monday. Bankman Fried's love life will be picked apart during the ex-billionaire's federal fraud trial. Bankman Fried was jailed last month after leaking Ellison's personal writings to the press, including diary entries in which she fretted that the pair were, quote, making things weird, unquote, and causing drama at the office. Yeah, those office romances, they can get, particularly, they can get a little complicated, right? Bharadwaj, however, said the couple, despite Bankman Fried revealing he felt claustrophobic toward the end, according to court documents, caused, quote, no awkwardness or drama in the office, unquote, despite their frequent breakups. All right, so this young lady's perspective is saying that she observed nothing untoward occurring there. It was known that they had a thing, but if you didn't know that information through gossip, you wouldn't see that, she said. There was no PDA, and I know what that means. That means public displays of affection. There were no lovers' quarrels, at least not in public. It was never something that spilled over into work. And I apologize. Bharadwaj is a gentleman, not a woman. My apologies. According to Bharadwaj, 5 couples, 10 people, lived in the $40 million penthouse known as the Orchid, including Bankman Fried and Ellison, who shared a room when their relationship was intact. Others who lived there with their girlfriends were FTX engineering chief Nasheed Singh and FTX chief technology officer Gary Wang. Now, they have pled guilty, both of them. They will soon have other roommates, and I believe they're going to be of a different persuasion in federal prison. Like Ellison, Singh and Wang have pleaded guilty to fraud charges and are set to testify during Bankman Fried's trial. The penthouse at the Albany complex served as a company social space, according to Bharadwaj. Employees had the access code and could freely enter, which would have made it difficult for FTX leaders to conceal a polycule from the staff. It's possible that Caroline was polyamorous in the past, and maybe even then, Bharadwaj added. But if she was, it was not a big polycule thing. Okay, so let's end it out here. Instead of wild adult activity parties, Bharadwaj said Ellison liked to stage live-action role-playing games known as LARPs, a kind of improv performance where participants are assigned roles and act them out. On one occasion, in particular, Ellison created a LARP that Bharadwaj described as a revisionist history reenactment of the founding of the Baha Mar Resort in the Bahamas. Right up there with Civil War reenactments, I suppose, right? Employees impersonated historical figures who lived in the Bahamas, including Ernest Hemingway and Bahamian journalist Etienne Dupont. This group sounds like just loads of fun. We had hackathons at the Orchid. We had social events and dinners at the Orchid, Bharadwaj said. Caroline's LARP was there. Also, we knew all of these people. I know for a fact that these folks were not having multiple participant adult activity parties. Bankman Fried, meanwhile, is a video game fanatic who has a well-known habit of playing League of Legends in the middle of meetings. And isn't that what you love when you see your CEO playing a video game in the middle of a meeting about your multi-billion-dollar company? Doesn't that just inspire you with all types of economic confidence? Okay, so that's what we got here, guys. Just a little palate cleanser, just a little fun at old Sam Bankman Fried's expense. Look, we're going to follow the trial. It's going to be long. We're not going to follow every little teeny tiny detail of it, but we will follow it. And hey, within a month or so, I guess we'll know whether or not he has been convicted of all or some of the charges against him. Guys, I'll talk to you soon.